Yeah, it's tough. You know, obviously we at the very least wanted to be in the playoffs. And there's a lot of different things that go into a team each year and what contributes to success. But I think more than anything, I feel bad for the fans because I know there was a lot of excitement going into this year, especially after last year. But I think you got to try to always look at positives. And I think a lot of young guys, because we have a young team, a lot of young guys grew this year as players. And I think it's going to be a learning experience when we look back on it. Yeah. I have a motto. It was on one of my towels this year. The marathon continues. I'm one of the oldest guy on this team right now. So I like to say I have a little bit more wisdom than the rest of these young folks. But, life's all about perspective. I always try and be a guy that's very positive, not only for myself and my teammates, but for my family. And I'm very thankful for them because they help keep that positive mindset. But concerning the team, life goes on. The marathon continues. You got to take the hits as you go along. And I think everyone will have learned something from this year, from the president all the way down to the last person on the staff. Everyone's going to learn something from this year. And it's about how you respond, take that, and try to be better wherever you are the next year. I think it's important in life to understand that although this is our job and it is very important, it's not the most important thing. There's wars going on. There's children who are going hungry. It's not easy to think like that every day, but it's important to have this perspective because it makes you understand, that it's not the end of the world, but you can still get better from it. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm always going to look myself in the mirror and wish that I could have been better. But like I said before, each year is different. Our dynamic of our team changed some this year. And I think I thought it was going to be one role, but it became another role. And as a professional, I had to adjust to that. And I think Jared coming in and stealing all my rebounds made it harder for me to keep my rebounding at the same level. But to have those accomplishments, those titles that you mentioned here in Yokohama, where I got my first opportunity to play B1 in front of the fans that have always embraced me and given me a lot of love, it's a good feeling. Yeah. Well, I've played all 60 last year and started all 60 last year. And I think I started 40 or something this year. And that's what I was saying before about adjusting to that because, I came back expecting to be starting again. And that's okay. That's a part of basketball. It's a part of life. So I had to make that adjustment. But I was mad that I didn't get to play in all the games. One time was kind of out of my control. I ended up getting COVID. And I couldn't do anything about that, so I missed those 3 games. But then, the injury right there at the end, so which is pretty good. I mean, in 3 years in Japan, 1 year B2, 2 years B1, those are the only games that I've missed. So I'm pretty proud of that I've been able to accomplish that this far and make sure I take care of my body this summer so I get back to playing 60 again next year. I think stats don't always tell the full story of what's happening in the game. They're very important, of course, but I think for me, I've always tried to be a guy that can help the team in any way to try and win. So I always try to be that way. I wish that my role would have increased from last year to, having the ball in my hands more and having a bigger role, but it didn't necessarily work out that way for the entirety of the year, and that's okay. But I'm gonna work on the things I need to work on in the summer and try to come back even stronger than this year. Well, initially it was just winning. I wanted to do whatever I needed to do to win games this year. But this was an interesting year for me. You know, I had my first child. I had my daughter this year. So mentally, I was still here, but some things became a little bit more important. But I just tried to be as consistent as possible. You know, again, I said earlier, the dynamic had changed a little bit this year, but you know, winning is always my first focus. Seems like we started this season 2 years ago. One of those games or Tokyo, I think individually that was one of my better games of the year. But, you know, obviously Tokyo is one of the best teams in B.LEAGUE. It was kind of bittersweet because it showed how good our team could actually be. You know, we beat Sanen, who was one of the best teams in the league. I think it was just about consistency for us this year. So that game was special because it showed how great our team really could have been. Unfortunately, we didn't get to that point, but it was nice to beat a big team like Tokyo, which we could beat anybody in the league when we're playing our best. Actually, I would say, I forget which game, it might have been Shinshu at Buntai. Yuki threw me an alley-oop, and it was the first time we connected on an alley-oop that I actually finished in the 2 years we played together, and I'm always yelling at him to throw it up, and he finally did. And right after the play, after I dunked it, he kind of ran over to me. He was like, "Finally, bro." And whispered it in my ear while the game was still going on. So, you know, obviously me and Yuki have built a good friendship, and kind of like our little duo has been built over the last couple of years. So to finally complete an alley-oop was nice after 2 years. Yeah. Also, we had a nice play against Chiba when I caught it and I got fouled and I did a scoop and made, yeah. That was also, yeah. I have one more. My over-the-head pass to Koya. I forgot that was this year. I thought that was last year. Koya was there. Any of those plays were probably the highlights for this year for me. Just with family. We are going, feels like all over the world. We're going to America first, so Mila can see my side of the family, and then we're going to Slovenia, so she can see Nusha's side of the family. No one really wants to see me and Nusha. They just want to see Mila, which I understand. I'd want to see her too. And then, you know, throughout that whole time, just training. Obviously in America, I have a gym and place to work out. And then in Europe, I also have a place where I work out. But just spending a lot of time with family and friends, everyone getting to meet Mila and letting my body rest a little bit and then get back to work. Yokohama fans, like I've said all year, since the time I've gotten here, for me personally, you guys have always supported me with the most amount of strength. You know, fans in Japan as a whole are like the best. Whether win or lose, you guys have our back and support us. And for me, that means a lot. You've taken my family in and shown and given us a lot of love and support. You know, this year, when you look around the gym, obviously number 5 towels is the most, but that's expected. I would say that number 2 might be Jugoban Debinoriba. And from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you guys. If I'm in Yokohama next year, I'm happy. If I go somewhere else, you guys will always hold a special place in the Oliver's family's heart. It's been nothing but love. It's been nothing but support. I'm sorry that the season didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but keep fighting with the Corsairs. It's a great place, and you guys deserve lots of wins and success. And you always have a friend in Devin Oliver. I promise. I love winning. Yes, I do. I love winning. How about you? Love you guys. Thank you. We love B-Corps fans. We love those B-Corps fans. Jewel Gold Bond loves B-Core fans. Yuki's towels first, but I'm second. Yeah. Yes, sir.